ladies, let me speak some truth to you today. When it comes to love, when it comes to relationships, there's this beautiful balance between vulnerability and guarding your heart. Because not everything you carry inside, not every thought, every pain, every piece of your story, those aren't all meant to be unpacked for just anyone, not even your boyfriend. So listen closely, because here are 5 things you should never share with your boyfriend. Not because you don't trust him, but because some things are sacred. They belong only to you, to God, and to your journey. 1. Your self-worth doubts. Never ever share your deepest self-doubts, your insecurities about your worth, your beauty, your brain. Keep those locked in your private journal. You don't need to put that weight on him. Your worth should come from within, from a place that no man can shake. When you constantly voice those doubts, you give power to fear, and you allow someone else to hold your value in their hands. Guard that treasure. There is a quiet power that lives deep inside of every woman, the power to know her worth, to claim her value, to stand firm in who she is, no matter the storms around her. But too often, we carry doubts about ourselves that we think are harmless, or that we believe show humility or honesty. What I want to say to you today is this: your self-worth doubts are not for him to carry. They are not your boyfriend's burden to bear, nor are they gifts you should hand over so easily. When you sit across from the one you love and start to share the things that make you feel less than, smaller than, broken or unworthy, what you might not realize is that you're not just sharing vulnerability. You're handing him the power to shape how he sees you. Your insecurities become the lens through which he might begin to view you, and that's dangerous because it puts your confidence in someone else's hands. The problem is not that you feel doubt or fear. The problem is when you speak those doubts aloud before you've anchored your own heart in truth. Think about it. When you constantly verbalize your worries about your appearance, do I look okay? Am I good enough? You're teaching him that you see yourself as less than. When you say, I'm not smart enough, or I don't have what it takes, you're inviting him to agree, or worse, to question his own feelings about you. Your self-worth isn't a conversation to have in its rawest form before you've even learned to believe it yourself. It's a silent work of faith, a prayer, a promise you make to yourself long before it becomes a dialogue with another person. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be perfect or put on a mask of confidence that isn't real. It means you carry your insecurities quietly in the beginning, and you work through them in private spaces. Through prayer, reflection, therapy, or conversations with trusted friends and mentors who know how to hold your heart gently. You have to find your value in the mirror of your own soul before you let another man hold the reflection. There is something sacred about the way you guard your inner voice. If you speak every insecurity out loud, if you make your doubts the soundtrack of your relationship, you will never be fully free. And it's not because he is unkind or unloving, but because the human heart naturally leans into what is shown to it most clearly. If you show him weakness as your default, you risk becoming that weak woman in his eyes. Not because you are weak, but because you have allowed him to see you that way. What would happen if you decided to keep those doubts to yourself at first? What if you met his love with a quiet, steady confidence that comes from a well-fed soul? The way you carry yourself when you believe in your own worth is magnetic. It changes the way he sees you and how he treats you. He won't have to reassure you constantly because you are already reassuring yourself. You become a woman who commands respect not through words of insecurity, but through the peace and strength she carries inside. Your self-worth doubts are personal battles you must fight alone before inviting another to fight alongside you. When you choose to share those doubts prematurely, it's like handing someone else the keys to your emotional kingdom before you know who you are as the queen of that kingdom. And no man can rule wisely over your heart if you have not first ruled it yourself. There is a fine line between vulnerability and oversharing. Vulnerability is beautiful when it comes from a place of strength. It is a bridge built after you have crossed your own storm. Oversharing yourself, worth doubts too soon can build walls instead of bridges. You must nurture your confidence in the quiet before you speak it into the loudness of a relationship. So, instead of telling him all the ways you think you fall short, learn to tell yourself the ways you are more than enough. Write it down, say it out loud when you're alone, pray it with your whole heart. Let yourself Worth be a fortress, not a fragile glass house. Because the truth is, the man who deserves your heart is not looking for your brokenness to fix. He is looking for your fullness to celebrate. When you love yourself fiercely, you give him something powerful to love, not a collection of fears to manage. You give him a woman who knows her worth, who stands tall even when the world tries to make her doubt. And that kind of woman is unstoppable, too. Your past heartbreaks in detail. You don't need to relive every tear, every betrayal, every mistake you made or that was made against you. The past is your teacher, not your biography. Share what you must for growth, but don't let him become a museum for your old wounds. Your healing is your own sacred space. If you keep dragging the past into the present, you'll never fully open your heart to what's coming next. There is a temptation that comes with love, especially when a new relationship begins. The temptation to unpack every piece of your past, to spill all your pain and your heartbreak like a river that never dries. But I want to remind you today that your past heartbreaks are not a storybook meant for casual reading. They are sacred chapters of your life, chapters that have shaped you, yes, but chapters that don't need to be retold in full detail to the one who's still learning how to love you. When you sit down with a new love interest and start recounting every tear, every betrayal, every moment you were left broken or confused, you're carrying a heavy weight that doesn't belong on his shoulders. You're asking him to become a witness not just to who you are now, but to every shadow that ever tried to dim your light. And while it's important to be honest, it's equally important to be wise. Not every part of your past deserves a front row seat in the present. You see, your past heartbreaks belong to a season of growth and healing. They belong to the time when you were learning what you would no longer tolerate, what you would fight for, and what love truly means. But when you recount those stories in vivid detail, you risk turning your new relationship into a battlefield strewn with the debris of old fights. You risk asking your new love to carry wounds that are meant for your own healing hands. There is power in holding on to some of your past pain quietly, in reserving those stories for the sacred space of reflection or trusted counsel. Because not every tear you cried, not every lie you believed about yourself, needs to be aired out like laundry on a public line. When you share every heartbreak too soon, you run the risk of overshadowing your present joy with old sorrow. And no one wants to step into a new chapter feeling like they're just the next in a line of heartbreaks. This is not to say that honesty should be sacrificed. There is a way to share your past that honors your healing and respects your new love. You can acknowledge your scars without describing every cut. You can say, "I've been hurt before and it took time to heal," without reliving every painful detail. You can create space for understanding without inviting someone into the depths of your brokenness before they're ready to hold you there. Your past heartbreaks are also a reminder of your strength, not just your pain. They tell the story of a woman who has survived, who has learned hard lessons, who has grown wiser and more discerning. But that story is best shared when the time is right, when the relationship has roots deep enough to support such vulnerability. Until then, keep those stories close like a sacred treasure, something you unwrap slowly and carefully with love and intention. When you unload your past heartbreaks too quickly, you can inadvertently place expectations on your boy. Friend, to fix what was broken before you met him, he is not your healer. He is your partner. The healing work is yours alone to do first. When you're still tangled in the pain of yesterday, you can't fully embrace the promise of tomorrow. You will carry ghosts into your new love, ghosts that may haunt the beautiful moments before they have a chance to fully bloom. You have to decide what your past will be in your present. Will it be a heavy chain that drags you down or a foundation that supports your growth? Will it be a warning sign or a bridge to a better understanding of yourself and what you deserve? Your heartbreaks do not define you, but how you carry them can either weigh you down or lift you up. Remember, healing is not a performance. It's a process. It's okay to hold your past heartbreaks close, to sit with them in solitude, to pray over them, to let the wounds close in their own time. It's okay to protect your new love from the storm of old pains until you are ready to walk through that storm with strength and clarity. When the time comes to share, do it with intention and with hope. Share not just the hurt, but the healing. Share the lessons, not just the losses. Let your past heartbreaks become a testimony of resilience rather than a checklist of pain. This way, you protect your heart, you protect your relationship, and you protect the beautiful possibility of new love. 3. Your financial struggles. Money is a sensitive thing. It can build, but it can also break trust. You don't have to share every penny problem, every late bill, every financial fear right away. Protect your peace by handling your money matters with maturity first. When the time is right, transparency is good, but don't unload financial chaos before the foundation of your relationship is strong. Money, it's a topic that carries more weight than we often want to admit, especially in relationships. There's something about finances that digs deep into the foundation of trust, respect, and stability, and yet it's one of those subjects that many women rush to share before the relationship is ready for it. But here's the truth you need to hear. Your financial struggles are not something you need to unload on your boyfriend too soon. Not because you want to hide parts of your life, but because money has a way of complicating love if it's not handled with wisdom and care. When you first start dating someone, your heart is open, your walls are down, and you want to be transparent, hoping that honesty will build a stronger connection. But financial struggles are sensitive. They can stir up anxiety, judgment, or even unconscious assumptions about your stability and future. It's not fair, but it's real. The way a man responds to your financial reality says a lot about his character. But it's not just about him. It's also about you setting a tone for how you respect and value yourself. You don't need to share every unpaid bill, every debt, every worry about making ends meet right away. Those conversations deserve a certain maturity, a certain timing. When you share financial struggles too early, you risk making the relationship about survival rather than growth. You might inadvertently signal that you're not yet in a place of stability, which can shift the dynamic from partnership to caretaker, or worse, burden bearer. Handling your financial situation with discretion and responsibility shows self-respect. It tells him that you are working on your life, that you are striving toward stability and independence. It invites him into a partnership where both people come as whole, capable individuals, not as people scrambling to patch holes. Financial transparency is important, yes, but it must come from a place of strength, not desperation. This is not to say you should hide your struggles or pretend everything is perfect. Honesty remains essential in any healthy relationship, but timing and context are everything. There's a difference between saying, "I'm working through some financial challenges, but I am committed to managing them," and unloading every stress and worry before the foundation of trust has been laid. The former invites understanding, the latter can create unnecessary fear or misunderstanding. You must first get comfortable in your own financial shoes. Develop your budget, your plan, your goals. Work toward a place where you feel secure and confident in your money matters. When you approach your boyfriend from that place, your transparency becomes a testament to your growth, not a cry for help. It becomes a conversation about building together rather than scrambling alone. Remember, financial struggles are often tied to deep emotions, fear, shame, insecurity, and it's easy to project those emotions onto the relationship. But your boyfriend is not your financial therapist. He is not your bank or your safety net. Before you expect him to step into that role, you must do your own work. You must carry your own weight. When you do, you build a foundation of respect that makes your relationship stronger and more equal. There's a sacredness in how you manage your money story. It's part of your testimony, your journey, and how you honor your own life. By guarding your financial struggles early on, you protect your peace and your relationship's potential. You give yourself time to heal, to stabilize, and to grow before inviting someone else into that space. This also gives your boyfriend a chance to see you beyond just numbers and problems. He can fall in love with your heart, your character, your dreams, not just your current financial reality. When the time is right and the relationship is ready, sharing your finances can be a beautiful act of partnership. But that moment only comes when you have built trust, when you both understand what you're bringing to the table emotionally, spiritually, and practically. So carry your financial story with dignity. Protect your peace by handling what you can quietly and confidently. Let your financial struggles be a chapter of growth, not a headline of hardship. When you are ready, you'll share in a way that honors both your journey and the man who stands beside you. Not the one who tries to carry your burdens before you've learned to stand on your own. 4. Your family drama, your family's mess is your family's mess. You don't need to bring all that drama into your relationship. Yes, relationships thrive on honesty, but not on gossip or endless complaints about those who raised you. Hold on to your dignity. Set boundaries on what you share. Protect your relationship from becoming a sounding board for unresolved family pain. Family is the place where our roots grow deep, but sometimes those roots twist and tangle in ways that cause pain and confusion. We all carry family stories, stories of love, of loss, of conflict, of sacrifice. But when it comes to relationships, especially early on with a boyfriend, there is a wisdom in holding back the full weight of your family drama. Not because you want to hide who you are, but because some battles are meant to be fought quietly, some wounds are meant to heal in private, and some stories are meant to remain sacred between you and your own heart. Your family's mess, whether it's constant conflict, unresolved arguments, or deep-seated wounds, does not have to become his burden. It's tempting to use a boyfriend as a sounding board, a place to vent, to seek understanding, or even to find sympathy. But that can place an unfair weight on a relationship that is still growing. Your relationship should be a place of peace and encouragement, not a battlefield where family grudges and resentments spill over. There is power in protecting your relationship from becoming a stage for family drama. When you unload all the family pain too early, it can cloud the way he sees you and how he relates to you. Instead of focusing on your strengths, your dreams, your character, he becomes entangled in the complications that are not his to carry. It can create unnecessary tension and confusion, and sometimes it makes a man feel like he's walking on eggshells, unsure of how to navigate your family's storms. This is not to say that your family isn't important. Your history, your upbringing, and the people who raised you are part of who you are. But there is a difference between sharing your background and letting family drama dominate your conversations. You can honor your past and your family's influence without giving him a front row seat to every fight, every disappointment, every complicated relationship. Setting boundaries around what you share about your family is an act of self-care and respect for your relationship. It shows that you are mindful of the space you're creating with your boyfriend, that you want to build something new rather than drag old chaos into your present. It's about protecting the sacred space where love can grow without being overshadowed by old hurts. You don't have to be a messenger for your family's conflicts or a witness to ongoing drama. You have the power to decide what parts of that story you carry forward and what parts you leave behind. Sometimes loving yourself means loving your family enough to keep certain things private, to not let their struggles become your relationship's burden. There is also something deeply empowering about learning to heal your family wounds on your own terms before inviting someone else into that space. Healing is a process that takes time and often requires space away from the chaos. When you bring a man into that space too soon, you risk entangling him in pain he didn't cause and struggles he can't fix. He can support you, yes, but he can't carry what isn't his to bear. Remember that your boyfriend is not your family counselor. He's not there to mediate conflicts or to fix broken family ties. That's your responsibility to navigate with patience, prayer, and, if needed, professional help. Your relationship deserves to be a place where you can both breathe freely, not a place weighed down by ongoing family tension. You have to decide what role your family drama will play in your present and your future. Will it be a shadow that follows you into every room, or will it be a background that reminds you where you came from but doesn't dictate where you're going? You have the power to choose what you share and how you share it. There is a sacredness in keeping some family stories just between you and those who need to know them. It's okay to be selective, to protect your peace, and to guard the space you are creating with your boyfriend. When the time is right and trust has been built, you can share more of your story, but always with intention and purpose, not out of habit or emotional overwhelm. By holding back some family drama, you are not shutting him out. You are protecting the possibility of a relationship built on fresh beginnings, free from the weight of old wounds. You are choosing love that can grow without being burdened by the battles of yesterday. 5. Your every thought and emotion. And finally, some feelings are too precious, too powerful to share casually. You don't need to explain every mood, every frustration, every worry. Sometimes silence is strength. Sometimes your prayer closet is the best place to pour out your heart before you share it with another human. Your emotions deserve respect, so don't give them away like cheap gifts. There is a sacred rhythm to the way we share our thoughts and emotions. As women, we are often taught that expressing everything we feel is a sign of honesty and intimacy. But there is a difference between authentic vulnerability and giving away every thought and emotion without discernment. Your inner world, the whirlwind of feelings, the doubts, the fears, the frustrations, is precious and deserves respect. It's not something to be scattered carelessly at every opportunity, especially not in the early stages of a relationship. You don't have to lay every part of yourself bare all at once. Sometimes we mistake the desire for connection with the need to offload every burden. We think that sharing every worry, every mood swing, every frustration will bring us closer, but often it overwhelms the other person. Not everyone is equipped to hold the full weight of your emotional life, and that's okay. Some things are meant to be held by you first, to be processed in the quiet corners of your soul before they become part of the conversation you have with someone else. Your thoughts and emotions are powerful. They shape your world, you, your decisions, and your relationships. When you share them indiscriminately, you risk losing the power they hold. There's a sacredness in holding some feelings close, in guarding your heart's depths, until the person you share with has proven they can handle the responsibility. Vulnerability is not about transparency at every moment. It's about timing and trust. It's important to learn the difference between sharing to connect and sharing to seek validation or to unburden. When your emotions become your primary conversation, when your every thought is on display, you can inadvertently push love away instead of drawing it near. People can only meet us where we are willing and ready to be met, and sometimes that means holding back until the relationship has space and strength to support the fullness of who you are. There is a grace in silence, in choosing when to speak and when to listen. Some emotions are best processed alone or with trusted friends or mentors before they become part of your relationship dialogue, your prayer closet, your journal, your moments of reflection. They are sacred spaces where you can pour out your heart without fear of judgment or misunderstanding. These spaces prepare you to come into relationship whole and grounded. When you share every mood or thought without boundaries, it can create confusion and instability. The man you love may feel like he's navigating a sea of unpredictable emotions without a compass. It's not that he doesn't want to understand or support you. It's that everyone needs moments of peace and predictability in love. When emotions run wild without pause, it can be exhausting for both of you. Learning to manage your emotional landscape is part of loving yourself well. It means recognizing when you need to hold space for your feelings internally, and when it's time to invite someone else in. This discernment is an act of strength, not weakness. It's about respecting the pace of your relationship and honoring your own need for emotional safety. You are not obligated to share every frustration, every worry, or every fleeting thought. Sometimes it's enough to say, "I'm feeling overwhelmed today," without giving a full report of every cause or nuance. Sometimes holding back is an act of protection for you and for the relationship. It allows love to grow steadily without being weighed down by constant emotional storms. There is a beautiful balance in learning to share deeply but selectively. When you wait for the right moment, when trust has been established, your vulnerability becomes a gift rather than a burden. You create space for connection that is meaningful and healing rather than draining or confusing. Your emotions deserve respect and care. They are part of your sacred self. By choosing when and how to share them, you are setting the tone for a relationship built on mutual respect, patience, and love. You are teaching him how to love you well, not by overwhelming him, but by inviting him into the fullness of who you are, one careful step at a time. Ladies, love is beautiful, but it is also sacred. Guard your heart. Share your truth wisely. Build your strength inside, so that when you do share, it's because the moment is right, the man is worthy, and your soul is ready. Remember, The right person will never make you feel like you have to give away all your pieces just to be loved. He will cherish every piece you choose to share. So walk boldly in your power, protect your peace, and love yourself fiercely. Because the greatest love story begins with the love you have for yourself. At the heart of every relationship is a sacred space, a space where love can grow strong, free from unnecessary burdens and guarded with intentionality. Knowing what not to share too soon is not about hiding yourself. It's about honoring your journey, your healing, and the future you are building with someone worthy of your whole heart. When you protect your self-worth doubts, hold your past heartbreaks with grace, manage your financial struggles with dignity, guard your family drama wisely, and choose how and when to share your deepest thoughts and emotions, you are creating a foundation of respect, strength, and love that can't withstand the tests of time. Remember, the right person will meet you in your fullness. Cherish your boundaries and celebrate the beautiful woman you are becoming. This is how love flourishes, when it's given the room to breathe, heal, and grow.